I'm going to go into that. Come on. Hey guys, hope everyone's well. A bit of a break in the channel again, just while I've been planning trips that I've got this summer. So taking people around Iceland and America, Spain, Italy, France, Ireland this year, Scotland. So a lot of planning going on at the minute. So I'll do a separate video on planning a motorcycle journey. Just for anybody who's setting out and wants to know how to get going, you know, get a bike moving and get out on two wheels. For now though, I just want to talk about this BMW 310 GS with the Rally Raid Stage 2 kit. I have mentioned it in previous videos and I've talked a little bit about the Rally Raid kit, and I got halfway through fitting it and then left it on the shelf over winter, just the front forks to fit and the front wheel to put in. And I've got to be honest, I cheated and took it down to our local bike shop. Phil there and Steve, they put in the new springs and the new caps and the new front wheel to give it the full Rally Raid Stage 2 treatment, which means it's a 20mm lift in the suspension, just better improved rear shock and better fork internals, which are going to make the bike ride that little bit better and allow you to carry maybe a more faster pace or do more technical trail riding or whatever it is to advance your riding a little bit. I know when we rode this bike, the stock bike, with Motorcycle News in their 4-bike test last year with Michael Guy, we found that once you started pushing on the 310 GS, that soft undersprung suspension just started to pogo a little bit as you were going into the choppier corners or the faster flowing stuff. So hopefully this uprated suspension will just make the 310 GS the bike it always was intended to be. You know, it's one of those bikes that came out 2017. It did okay and it kind of got a bit of fanfare for the fact it's a BMW, and I think for the most part it was selling based on its badge rather than the bike. I mean, interestingly, the 310 GS I believe was twice the price of a Himalayan out in India, but in many ways was half the bike, certainly as standard. You know, BMW really sort of cut back on their spend on the bike with the budget suspension, with the cast aluminium rims. So it was always sort of fighting an uphill battle a little bit, the 310 GS. Then the KTM 390 came out, the Adventure, which had got more power and more style. And then we've got the CRF 300s and the Vogue, which have got more off-road potential, which kind of left the 310 GS a bit in no man's land, which is a shame, because actually, as a do-it-all, all-round motorcycle that can do some back road travelling, some motorway travelling and some trail riding, it's actually a pretty good bike. And I've got customers who have been through the Himalayan, been through the KTM 390 and the CRFs, and finally hit upon the 310 GS and gone, you know what, it's just a really good all-round motorcycle. It doesn't do anything particularly well, but it doesn't do anything particularly bad either. And it ticks a lot of boxes and it's all-day comfortable. So yeah, so it'll probably peter out the 310 GS, and it was interesting at NEC. I spoke to one of the guys at BMW who said there is another one in the works. There will be a new mini GS, so it'll be interesting to see how they progress with that in light of the new Himalayan and in light of the new CF Moto 450. So for now I'm just going to take you a quick look, show you a quick little video around the bike, and then I'm going to hit some trails and see what it can do, or what we can do. Okay, so basically the kit consists of separate parts, so you can do this piecemeal, you don't have to do it in one go. The wheels are tubeless spoke rims, so no inner tube in there, so it means if you get a puncture you can just plug them. Wheels are about 1,200 quid, and that is quite a lot of money, but they do make the bike look a lot better. Do they make the bike better to ride? Well, obviously they don't make any difference to the way it rides. The main difference being that, you know, there's an argument that if you hit a hard obstacle with a spoke wheel, it will deform but won't lose pressure. But I would argue that that argument's negated by the fact they're tubeless. So if you did it a rock or something and it deformed the rim, it would equally lose pressure because it's a tubeless rim. There's no inner tube. Obviously the solution would be to put an inner tube in, but then we go around in circles. So let's just accept for now that the biggest improvement with the wheels is their visual improvement. A 19-inch front wheel, which, you know, people are saying, well, what about a 310 GS or a Vogue, whatever? Well, look, it's a 19-inch front wheel, which means it's a compromise bike, or it's a bike that's designed to be as good on road as it is off-road. So a 19-inch front wheel bike is generally never going to be as good as a 21-inch front wheel bike. It's never going to roll over the same obstacles as smoothly or as easily as a 21-inch front wheel bike. So you're comparing apples with oranges a little bit when it comes to comparing, say, this and the Vogue or the CRF. Different bikes for different purposes. This can do a bit of gravel track, bit of trail, but it can also do quite a bit of road. More road than, say, the Vogue, so that's where your compromise is. Also got the sump guard. That's a rally raid sump guard. It doesn't bolt to the engine. If you notice, one of the weaknesses of some of the engine guards that bolt to the engine is that if your engine guard takes a whack and it's threaded into the engine, then it can crack the sump, which causes a lot of expensive damage. So this one mounts to the frame, which maybe does damage to the frame. It's always one of those arguments, which is best or which is worst. And then we've got the tractive rear suspension. So this is a £1,000 upgrade, rear shock, fully adjustable, low speed compression. Don't ask me what that does. I would need somebody like Fortnite to explain that properly. And then we've got a preload adjuster on that side there. And then the fork internals. So there's a new spring. So the GS, like a lot of these budget bikes, including the Triumph 400X, they use, so there's a main spring in, I think, in the right leg, which does everything. That does damping, the compression, rebound, everything, and then this is just a helper spring in this, so it's almost like a redundant leg, and it's a way of saving money really. And all the rally raid kit does is improve the spring quality and make the fork 20mm longer than the stock suspension to give you a bit more ground clearance. And then I think one of the biggest changes is this Renthal fat bar conversion with a slight lift. Oh, got the tripod stuck. So the Renthal fat bar conversion, which just gives you a different swoop, stronger bars obviously, and a slight rise in that. So it's a nice riding position. And what I would say with the 310 GS, and why it's always worked for me and had more potential than I guess others have given it credit for, is that because it's got a very good out of the crate standing position, which is why it makes me think that BMW had bigger ambitions for this bike, but it got kneecapped somewhere along the financial planning stages. Let me see if I can turn this bike around and show you. Just need it on more stable ground. But yeah, it's got a very nice standing position. Just need to upright it. I'll show you actually by riding it. Still sounds raspy and tinny, doesn't sound great. But if I come around in front of the camera, the foot pegs are nicely placed, the handlebars are now perfectly placed, the bike feels light. This Euro 5 bike is a lot less easy to stall than the Euro 4 bike, so I've got better low speed manners than what I had with the Euro 4 bike. You can still stall this, it's not got the chug of the sort of long stroke motors like in the Himalayan, but it's better than it was as a Euro 4 bike. Nicely manageable, about 175 kilos, so it's not too heavy. You know, the difference in weight between this and say a V-Strom 800 or the Tenerés or any of those mid-sized bikes is massive. You know, when you get into a tricky situation and you're on a bike like this, the difference of that 50 kilos, 40, 50 kilos is massive. And which is why when people say, well, why would you spend money on a bike like the 310 GS? Why not buy a Teneré? Well, yeah, you could do if you're a great rider and you could take those bigger bikes in those trickier places. But if you're an average rider and you want to get more out of the bike that you already own and you don't want to overwhelm yourself with metal and plastic, then the best way of improving the potential of the bike you're on is to upgrade the bike you already own. And so rather than sell your 310 GS and buy something bigger that you might struggle on, you're better putting £1,000 into suspension and making the bike it always could have and should have been. So that's the argument for spending money on the kit. You know, this argument that you should just buy a bigger bike misses the whole point of the smaller market, of the smaller bike sector. You know, these bikes are incredibly manageable for the average rider. Go up in size and you lose that manageability. They cost twice as much, they use twice as much fuel. You know, there's so many reasons not to go up in size. The reason that, you know, the argument is to stay with what you've got and just improve it, whether it's a rally raid kit or any of the other suspension offerings. So for me, if I was spending money on this, the first thing I'd change is the suspension. £1,000 worth of suspension, £200 worth of tyres and £200 worth of bars and risers, 1,400 quid, you've actually got yourself a very capable little bike, as we'll find out today doing some trails, you know. And that's where I'd start. And then if you wanted to put the wheels on for vanity purposes, do that. But the main meat and potatoes of this bike's benefit is the suspension. You know, and it's really interesting that we don't see the cost cutting in suspension until we ride the bike. The spec sheet doesn't show it, the showroom doesn't show it, which is why it's the easy part of a bike to take the cost out of. But it's probably the most crucial part of a bike and how it carries itself. You know, it's hard to describe suspension, it's hard to understand suspension. But what suspension does is make the bike ride in the way that it always should do. It allows the bike to use the engine power that it's got, and it gives the rider everything they need to make fast or confident progress. And it's unfortunate that the suspension, that crucial component, is a bit that gets cut down, you know, in favour of TFT screens and knickknacks that don't really matter to anything or anyone. So yeah, so we're going to take it for a ride now. I'm going to do some trails that are a bit challenging, but I think we'll manage, hopefully. Okay, first little lane, nice and easy, just taking it steady. We've got a runner here, proper athlete, not like us motorcyclists. Thank you. Happy to see us. Oh well. Alright, third gear. So what I've got now is a nice compliant bike, sat down, don't have to work it by standing up. It's not a choppy trail, it's a sort of back road trail you might encounter. Not so much in England, but maybe a bit of America, a bit of Australia. Certainly when we went out to Italy last year and did the Stella Alpina, a lot of tracks are a bit like this. Probably a little bit narrower, but similar levels of trickiness, so not too tricky. And with the 310, again, manages to do this quite nicely. It's nice and stable. But it's when you stand up, it just comes into a really natural position. I do like the standing position on this, and it's why for me I'd favour this bike over the 390 KTM, just for the fact that it's got a more natural standing position. You can get comfy on it, you can do some, you know, a good half hour stood up on this without any discomfort. That KTM, you're a little bit too far hunched forward, even with bar risers, and you know, some people gel with that bike really well off-road, and I do to an extent, but it's got limitations. But this 310, yeah, it feels nice. Feel relaxed, that's a large part of it. Do you feel relaxed on the bike? Yeah, that helps. A little bit against the 310 GS, it does wear quite a wide or a broad front and rear section tyre, which is probably borrowed or been carried over from the R version of the bike, which is a road-based version of the 310, from which this bike was derived. So it could have done with a slightly skinnier tyres just to help make it cut through the dirt off-road, but with a 110 section front and I think it's a 150 rear, so quite broad, it is quite oversized. And on this kind of terrain, that's absolutely no issue. I just find in the technical mud and sloppy stuff, you can just struggle to get the tyre to cut through the dirt. Oopsie. But we'll see how we end up. But yeah, roads like this, absolutely fine. Yeah, I just really like the flow of the bike now. Makes it quite exciting. Second lane, some people will recognise this one. Up on the pegs, head up. I think I'm in third gear, don't want to look down, just got a bit of mush. Elbows up. I've got a Anlas Kappa X tyre on the front, which is a copy of pretty much a copy of a, what would you call it, Anarchy Wild. Pretty decent hybrid tyre, 50/50, works well on the road, works okay on the trails. I think that it also showcases the issue with weight, as I've got a set on that Motor Marini X-Cape, and I've had them on other bikes as well. I had them on a Guzzi V8 5TT, and you know, with those bikes 230 kilos or so, I just don't think that tyre works so well, that 50/50 tyre, because it really sort of blunts their on-road riding finesse, and off-road you're just dealing with too much weight. So yeah, if you're thinking about turning your 230 kilo bike into an off-road bike by putting tyres on it, I wouldn't bother. I'd buy something else, because you'll never get rid of that weight, you'll never shed that weight. Whereas this 170, makes good use of those tyres. What gear am I in? I'm in second actually. It's quite low. So I've just got a bit of weight back. Just trying to make sure I don't catch any edges of that mud. That's what's going to trip you up if you just let that front wheel wander. But what I like about the 310GS, it's got lovely smoothness on the throttle. It's a cable operated throttle. Actually no, it's not, it's a ride-by-wire throttle, which is interesting because on that Triumph, that new Triumph, one of my criticisms of it is the throttle is very sort of artificial feeling. It feels digital, which it is because it's a ride-by-wire throttle, and I feel it lacks a bit of precision and clarity, whereas this has got it beautifully. And this is ride-by-wire as well, i.e. it's sensors, but it feels very natural, it feels organic like a cable would. So that is quite an interesting thing. If the Triumph had this throttle set up, it'd be a better bike as well. Right, a bit of a steep climb here. Actually just stalled it out then. This is where the 310GS can sometimes struggle. So it's not a chuggy bike, it's not got that long stroke motor of the Himalayan, or it's not got the bottom down, low down gearing of say the Vosges or the CRF. So when it's tight or steep and technical, you've got to be quite busy on that clutch to stop the bike from stalling. So it does take a bit more effort, it takes a bit more technique really. That's the downfall of the 310 on the more technical stuff. It takes more technique. Let's have a go. Yeah, it's quite a tricky little... I'm going to go down at first. Oh. Nope. Oh, I fucked that up, good and proper. So you'll probably not see it on the camera, hopefully you do, otherwise you'll be saying what a crap rider, but there's quite a steep gully and you've got to try and get on this left ridge. If you don't, you're in trouble, so we're going to give it another, we're going to have another go. I've done this, I think I've done this video a few times, struggling to get up here. It's quite a tricky one. I'm going to roll back, get another clean start. Rolling it back on the gearbox. Oh, I'm stuck on something. Come on, let's have another go. Yeah, it's actually a lot steeper than it looks. I don't think I'm going to get up this today. I don't think I've got it in me, mate. Okay, third attempt. I got up at the second attempt, but not very cleanly, so I'm going to have a third attempt, try and get up it cleanly. It's these kind of technical trials which just highlight, you know, where you're going to be better having a proper trial bike rather than one of these hybrid bikes, that 21-inch front wheel. But look, I tell you what, okay. What that taught me actually was to have more confidence in the 310GS's low down fueling and smoothness, because I came up there without any clutch slip and just on a partial throttle, and the control that the bike gave me, probably aided by that suspension a little bit, the control that the bike gave me and actually the smoothness of the engine allowed me just to slowly pick my way up it in better control than if I'd have gone at it fast and tried to bash my way up. So that was a really civilised climb actually, which was not what I remember. Try it. Are you alright? Sorry about that. We nearly got each other. I tell you what, too busy talking I was then, and then I got a bit of... Oh, I tell you what, I nearly made a cardinal sin then, too much front brake. So they'll teach you not to use much back brake, but on lanes like this where you might have to emergency panic brake, a bit of back and a bit of front is the name of the game. But we both live to tell the tale and learn many valuable lessons. So, yeah, the bike was much better up there than I expected it to be. So the question of, is the 310GS a good trail bike? Well, look, it's not a natural trail bike. It's a road-derived variant. Well, it's a variant of a road bike. So it was never intended for this purpose. But A, the standing position gives me good control. B, that smoothness on the throttle gave me good power, or usable power, and yes, the suspension just helped the bike sit nicely in the dirt and allow everything to come together nicely. So yeah, that was impressive, wasn't it? I mean, I know you won't see that climb from the camera, but it's quite a delicate little climb, that. You know, you've got to be quite precise. You're up against the bank, you're up against the gully, you want to be against neither. So you've got to sort of thread the eye of the needle in a bike that gives you good control. And good feedback is the name of the game, really. So that's it, next trail. Okay, we're going to try one of the trickier lanes we've got around here, which is probably not adventure bike friendly, but we'll give it a go. Now, one of the things I like about this bike is that it's got very little electronic intrusion on it. There's no traction control, which, to be honest, makes a real mess of that 390 KTM. That bike could be a lot better without traction control. Far more usable, because it's very intrusive, especially on trails. This hasn't got it, so I like that. It's got ABS, which on the Euro 4 used to be switchable. You could turn it off at the rear wheel. Now you can no longer turn it off at all, which the skid masters will be sad about, but I've got to be honest, it doesn't bother me too much. And if it did, I'd just pull a fuse so I could turn it off front and rear. So other than the ABS, there is no mechanical intrusion on the bike. Just going to pull in, let this car past. There we go. Right, let's see how we go. It's a very tricky lane, this. I've got a feeling I'm not going to manage it, both rider ability and bike. Right, I need good smooth drive up here. Come on, come on, come on. That's got a lot harder than when I last come up it. Tell you what, those tyres are digging quite nicely. Stored it on a hill, let the clutch out, the bike's going to hold itself because it's in a gear. If I pull the clutch in, the bike's going to roll, I'm going to grab the brake, it's just going to slide backwards. So whatever you do, if you store it on a hill, leave that clutch out with it in gear, yeah? Okay, so I've got to start up, so obviously I've got to put it in gear, pull the clutch in. Hold it on the back brake, I'm in first gear. And I want nice gentle drive, feet down to give it a bit of paddle. But I was impressed. I tell you what, I was impressed with that. And this is where we introduce ourselves to good old-fashioned Devon slate. Alright, okay. We're just overwhelming that back tyre. So I'm going to get off it and I'm going to feather that bike. I'm going to walk it up like this. I'm going to walk it up. Okay, the lack of the chug on the engine is slightly annoying. Got steamed up glasses just on that rock now. Ready? I'm going to try and get it to go. Ready? There we go. There we go. Got a bloody great big snake in front of me. Hardest bit of the trail may be done, hopefully. Let's see. But look, we're in an environment where the 310 doesn't belong. I'm going to stop. I'm going to take my glasses off because I can't see. Okay, this is adventure riding. I'm 5 miles from home, but I'm adventure riding. I'm hot, tired. That's steep, that is actually. I've got a bike that's kind of working with me, kind of working against me. I'm in this awkward situation now because I want to move forward, but can't get the bike on the stand. I don't want to lay it down. I'm tired. Take a breath, take a breath. As I tell everyone, whenever they panic on a bike, take a breath. I'm just, as you can see, I've got stone under that back wheel, struggling for grip. Now what I can do, what I'm going to do, just give me a bit of help if I can get to it. Gonna let a bit of air out that tyre. It's not going to work miracles, but it's going to help me a little bit, just a little bit. That'll do it. Yeah, you can see, so they call this a 50-50 tyre, but as soon as it gets on wet stone, nah, it's not a 50-50 tyre. And then obviously you've got the weight, so you think you're on a V-Strom 800 up here. You know, I can see people saying, oh, I'm going to get one for trail riding. Okay, you've seen a green road on your map, on your trail map, and you give it a go. And you get halfway up there, maybe. I don't think you get halfway up on your Transart, but on your GS or whatever, you get halfway up and you're in this position with a 230 kilo bike. You're in trouble. You are in trouble. There you go. Just letting that tyre down, I think, has helped quite a little bit actually. Let's make sure we're all right. Yep. Okay. The adventure begins. Okay, we're moving. I'm going to stay set down just to give myself a bit of breathing space. I've got a tight right corner coming here. I want to be up on the peg so I can see up through the corner. And I want to go. I want to get good clean drive. Loose bars. Because I'm on stone. Oh. Yeah, I ain't getting up this. Why did I do this? Why did I do myself this days? Why did I do this to myself? I ain't getting up that. I ain't getting up that. No. Okay, I'm aborting. Embarrassing, but look, I ain't getting up that. No chance. I've got no grip. I'd have to push it up. I need two of us up it. I'm at my depth. The bike's out of its depth. My tyres are out of its depth. I'm going to turn it around. How embarrassing. Not really. Self-preservation. So I'm going to feather that clutch around. I'm going to try and get that bike to turn. Might not be easy. Yeah. I think good clean drive. I'll probably get one of them. I've got a postie bike up here, no problem. But this, different kettle of fish. Different kettle of fish. It's at this point you realise you should have got Husqvarna or something like that. Yeah. This is trail riding in Britain though. Know where to ride and know where not to ride. Right, we're going to give it one more go up that right hand side. One more go. One more go. And then if not, we'll turn around and go back. Focus. Breathe. Go. Up on the pegs. Power off. Soft throttle. Just started to spin at the bike. Guys, like glass. Like absolute glass. I did alright. Got further. Yeah, this is it, look. It's just spinning. No, I think the only chance we've got is getting it over. Okay, again. 170 kilo bike. I can hunch that across, try and get on this dirt here, and if I can just get it on this dirt, I've got a shot of getting it moving again. There. Just need to get that back wheel moving. There, slow. Nope. Little gains. What if we go across? Go on, gentle power. A bit more. Quite flattens out up there a bit. Yeah, this is not GS to the rescue. Keep going. I was going to the gym today, but I don't think I need to. Clutch control. Here we go, walking it up. We're up. That was harder than I thought. But look, comes back down to less than a weight, doesn't it? Lighter the better. Lighter the better. Right, let's go. I know we've got some more tricky sections coming up, so we'll see how we get on. It's not over yet. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, absolutely bonkoed, zonkoed. Very slushy around here. Okay, where are we going to go? Riverbed? Yeah, let's go. Kick start as a child. You all remember it? Right, the high line there. I'm going to look and I'm going to go with conviction. So I don't want to drop into that. That front end took a nice drop into there then. Clutch out. Throttle, progressive throttle. Weight back. Weight back. Weight back, come on. Keep it going. Oh. Now you know what? Panic and holding on tight sets in, and you can feel the bike going off course. Target fixation, it's just as big an issue off-road as it on as it is on road. Come on, let's get going again. I've got the feel of this clutch now. Okay. Uh-oh. I'm going to sit down. Come on. Come on. Feather in that clutch. A bit more power, need a bit more go. Let's go back. Go back. Okay, let's have another look. Here you go. If I'd have come up that left line, I would have been alright. But sometimes you just can't, you know, you just can't get exactly where you want to be. Okay. Especially when you ain't got your glasses on. I'm paddling, I've got 20mm more seat suspension clearance. Oh, hardest bit coming up. Come on. Even the fan's coming on. But look, the bike is in real danger of falling. But with 170 kilos I can catch it. Stuck again. Oh, that's lethal. That is lethal. Lethal, that. What do you reckon? Up that left bit, up that right bit. That there is very slippy. There's a stone there, but I don't think I'm good enough to hit that, go up it. That's what I'm going for there, if I can get going. Yeah, go on. Oh, 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 just stuck right at the top of it. Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm happy with that. That snapper, that is. Oh, oh. quick debrief. Oh, I'm going to pick the rest of my spine up in a minute. Okay, so what we've got an enduro style lane, in fairness. That is not an easy lane. It's not an adventure bike lane. I've got a bike that weighs 170. You won't want it any heavier than that. You've got a bike with a 19-inch front wheel, so it's going to pick up more of the divots and ruts and rocks than the 21-inch front. So yes, you'd definitely be better coming up there on a CRF, on a Vogue, maybe even on a Himalayan. It's got the 21-inch front. It's a tricky lane. The bike did better than I expected. It does want to stall out. You've got to keep it on that clutch biting point to stop it stalling out. But the ground clearance, added ground clearance helped, and I think the suspension definitely helped, although I have got a standard version bike up there, a Euro 4 310, so it's not necessarily the rally kit that's made the difference, but it's definitely helped. So is it a success for the kit, or is it a success for the bike? Well, it's a bit of both in a way, because it just shows that a 310 can do some quite technical stuff, and yeah, therefore it's worth putting a bit of money into it and making it even better. So that's it. That tested me. That's it. Let's get an appointment booked in with a chiropractor. Okay, this is a stupid idea. Absolutely bloody stupid. But I'm warmed up now, so I may as well have a look at it. See. Oh, crikey me. Yeah, I don't think this is a 310 GS lane, to be honest. What do you think? No, I don't think so. I think you need to get onto that. No, this lane is not for this lane is not for 310 GS's. Let's put the side stand down. I think I'm done. Hopefully that'll stay. That was okay, for the sake of self-preservation, I'm bowing out of this lane. It is beyond me. Beyond me. So I'm going to turn around, know your limits, know when it's worth struggling and when it's not. I'm going to double back on myself. That was some very wet rock. Oh, very wet rock. Oh dear. Okay. That was really good though. I enjoyed that. You know, it's good to challenge yourself, and it's good to do it on a bike that. Okay, so there's at times it's out of its depth. Let's be honest, a little bit out of its depth on stuff like that, but it goes with you. It gives it a go. It goes, okay, we'll try it. You know, it doesn't completely kneecap you. It doesn't say, you know, I'm too big, I'm too heavy, I'm unwilling. It goes, all right, let's try it. So I like that. Tenacious D, that's what we shall call the GS. Tenacious Tenacious G. Okay, let's have another quick lane before we go home. This is on one of the local local long distance trials. A little bit squirrely, we'll see how we get. Oh Jesus, we've got a good washout here. That's going to go around that. Bit dry, you see. So here, you know, we've got dirt to ride on. Look, a bit steep. We've got some exposed rock. We'll see how we go. I'm going to drop. I'm going to go into that. Come on. Know your limits.